Hey there, friends. Let's talk about pests. One of the questions that I get a lot is, with this many plants in my house, how do I prevent pests? Do the plants encourage more bugs in the house? Well, okay, the short answer is yes. Having this many plants does increase your chance of having some household pests. But my plants are my kitchen, so I really don't want those pests in my house. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I do to prevent the most common houseplant pests in our house. So first, let's start with the most common household pests. So number one, you have fungus gnats. Those are like little fruit flies that you'll find above your soil in your plant, sometimes in your soil. Then we have spider mites. So some plants are more susceptible to spider mites than others, but spider mites are a real threat to your household pests. Then we have thrips. Thrips are pretty gross. They're tiny, they look like dust. I actually had a thrip outbreak on one of my big monsteras, and I didn't even realize it was a bug. I just thought they were dusty. So thrips, another real one, and then mealybugs. Mealybugs are really nasty. They tend to get like in the crevices and stuff of your plant, so they're really hard to get rid of. So those are the four common ones that I work to address on a regular basis and what we have experienced in this house. Okay, so how do you start? An ounce of prevention, right? So first of all, just paying attention to your plants, looking at them, if you know they're properly watered, are they droopy? Are they dusty? Are they turning brown along the edges? So what I like to do is inspect my little plant leaves, and this is gonna look ridiculous, but I have this chenille white glove that I will take the plant and I will actually just like clean its leaves with this glove. So I would take it and just wipe it, get any dust off, and just take a look at what's on the glove when I'm done. Now, I don't use one glove for all of these plants because obviously if I did have a pest on one of the plants, that would just be taking it and putting it on your next plant. So I have like 6 of these, and I'll clean a couple plants that I know are healthy. And then if I get to one that's like, this is pretty dusty, then I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna do some treatment, and I'm gonna take this glove, toss it in the wash, and get a fresh one, okay? So the gloves, inspecting your leaves, that makes a huge difference. Next thing, if I do notice something that looks like, hey, this isn't right, it's a little dusty, maybe there's little tiny things on it that I don't know how to identify, then I will take it and put it either in the sink or in the shower, and I'll spray down the plant, right? So spray the leaves, the top, the bottom, and just try to avoid the soil, try to keep all the soil in, but clean the plant. Because I don't know that there's actually a pest on it yet. I just am like, something's wrong here. Let's get it all the way clean and start fresh, okay? And the next thing I'll do is I start getting into my products, okay? So I've got this little guy that I use for prevention. So if you have an outbreak, this isn't gonna do it, but you can prevent an outbreak using something with neem oil or Castile soap. That'll help to prevent the bugs. Also, if you do feel like, hey, this looks like a bug, but I'm not totally sure, like the dusty thing, you can use a mixture of water with a little bit of alcohol in it, because the pests don't like that either. So I recommend this one. This is what I use at my house. It doesn't smell super terrible like just straight neem oil would. It's got a little bit of a lemon flavoring to it, or essential oil, I guess, not a flavoring, that would be crazy. So it's got lemon essential oil, it's got neem oil, and I use that, and I just spray it on the plant to prevent pests moving onto that plant. Okay, so let's say we have discovered one of those terrible 4, the fungus gnats, the spider mites, the mealybugs, or the thrips. All right, your next step. I love this guy. This is the bug soap, okay? Captain Jack's dead bug soap. All right, so you can see I have it labeled for when it's put away. Bug soap. So if you have noticed that, yes, you do indeed have little dust particles that are moving on your plant leaves, that's thrips, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this spray, you're gonna take your plant, and you're gonna go into your shower, or you're gonna go outside with it, and you're going to spray it down really thoroughly with this spray. So you want to see like soap bubbles on your leaves. You wanna get the top, you wanna get the bottom, okay? And then I just like to leave it on there for a couple of minutes, right? Let it really soak in if those bugs are on there. And then I will spray it down, again, with either your hose, or you can bring it in your shower, spray it with your handheld shower, or if you have a sprayer nozzle on your sink and you have a big enough sink. So we're gonna spray the soap, leave it on a couple minutes, then you're gonna spray it down with water and then let her dry, okay? Now let's say you've done that a couple times with this plant. I actually went through this with this sweet plant here. Oh, she had mealybugs. So we have gone through all of the steps several times. I think we're nearly through it, but I still check her regularly. And we took it up to the very last level of my plant pest destruction mode, which is going up to the systemic granules. Okay, so this is like really real bug killer, okay? If you do use this on your plants, just know you really shouldn't ever move them outside because this would damage like the bugs that are good for our environment. So once you put this in your plant, it's an inside plant from now on, okay? But this stuff makes basically the leaves of the plant poisonous, okay? So it doesn't work immediately. So if you have mealybugs on a plant today, then you gotta go with the bug soap and you gotta spray them off, try to pick them off, you know, whatever you gotta do, rinse them off, get the bugs off. But then you will pour this into the soil using the directions on the back. It'll tell you how much for the size of plant that you're working with. And you're gonna put this in the soil. And then over the next few waters, that's going to all go into the plant's roots and go up through the shoots. And then your plants will become poison for pests, which is amazing, right? So this girl, she's recovering pretty well, I gotta say. She's looking good. We've got a couple little crispy ends, but for a mealybug infestation, I think she's doing great. And I'm gonna keep treating her with the bug soap and the neem spray to try to keep her healthy, and then take a look at her every couple days and make sure there are no mealybugs returning. All right, so so that's how I deal with outbreaks, but then prevention. I've got a couple of other things because again, all of these plants are in my house. And so I love these little guys. So these are just little like sticky loops of paper and you just stick it in your plant. And if you have fungus gnats, you know, when they're flying around, they just poof, get stuck to this. And you just replace these every weeks, months, whatever, when they're covered enough to where they're not productive anymore. So I stick these in 1 or 2 plants in my display back there so that my fungus gnats can't settle in and get too comfortable. Then I also use these guys. So this plugs into the wall. It's like old school, you know, outlet air freshener thing, but it has this sticky, this is very sticky, sheet that you slide into it and then has a blue light back here. So at night, the blue light attracts things like fungus gnats, even flies, and then they're attracted to the blue light and then they get stuck to this little pad. So it's pretty gross. Like I just changed this one last night and there's already 7 fungus gnats in there. It's pretty nasty. So these, again, you would just replace as they get full of bugs. You can't see the bugs, which is nice. When it's plugged into the wall, it just looks like this. So it's not too offensive. It's when you turn it around and see all the dead bugs, you know, that's how you know it's working. I would be remiss if I didn't mention another pest control method. I do not personally participate in this one, but there are, you know, carnivorous bugs that you can purchase and put into your plants to eat things like spider mites and thrips and mealybugs. Now, for me, it seems like success is short-sighted with a carnivorous bug because, you know, buying bugs to put in your kitchen to control other bugs, number one, seems gross. And then, you know, once those carnivorous bugs have the regular bugs under control, how do you control the carnivorous bugs, right? Like, do I have to get an iguana to eat the bugs? I don't know, but I haven't jumped into that pool yet. If I had like a greenhouse outside, maybe I would consider it. But again, this is my home, so I'm not ready for carnivorous bugs yet. So I'll stick to my prevention methods and then my treatment methods if something crops up. So if you have questions or if you have a plant that's maybe showing some signs that it may have some pest damage, drop it in the comments. I would love to like take a look at your plants, see if we can figure out what's going on and see if I can help you work through your pest control plant situation in your home. So thanks for joining us and hope you have a very pest-free plant family. Thanks, y'all.